Tom Glause, the CEO of the PRCA. Welcome to Western Sports Roundup.
Good to see you, Steve. Thanks for inviting me to join you this afternoon.
You too, Tom. We're about ready to race into a pretty busy time in professional rodeo with the 4th of July and Cowboy Christmas. I want to get to that in just a minute. But I want to talk to you about the Las Vegas agreement and an announcement that was made by the PRCA a few years ago, or a few days ago. I think it was a follow-up to something that came out actually during the NFR. The Wrangler National Finals Rodeo has a home in Las Vegas through 2035. How comforting is it to you to know that that deal is done and in writing?
Oh man, it is very exciting, Steve. We did announce the extension during the NFR, and we've been working on the details of the contract ever since. So, to get that put together and be able to announce the terms of it is really exciting for the whole industry. It will cement our future in Las Vegas and ensure the future of our sport continues to grow and our athletes continue to make more money.
$264,323,473. That's the amount of money that is going to be paid out to contestants and stock contractors over the next 12 years from the National Finals Rodeo.
You know, that's a huge number, but it doesn't reflect everything. Uh, we have a guaranteed payout of $1.2 million a year, which over 12 years is another 14.4 million. The stock contractor payments and then all of the production costs that go into producing an event of this caliber uh, make that an astronomical figure. And it really showcases how far our industry has come in the last few years.
Tom, in putting all of this together, remind me and remind the folks that are watching this interview, why is this so important to Las Vegas? Las Vegas obviously wants the National Finals Rodeo there every December.
It's been home to the NFR. Vegas has been home to the NFR since 1985. You know, we think about Oklahoma City and how long the rodeo was in Oklahoma City, but it was only there for 20 years, and now we've doubled that, almost doubled that in the time we've been in Las Vegas. It started out that December was a slow time of the year in Las Vegas, but the sporting industry has changed in Las Vegas. Now there's a lot of different options for entertainment dollars. The Super Bowl was held in Las Vegas in February. They've got the Raiders. They've got the uh, Golden Knights that won the Stanley Cup last year. They've also got a WNBA team. They've got a NBA team coming. So there's a lot of competition, but I think that it really elevates the status of our sport that Vegas is committed to hosting the NFR and puts us in this league of other premier sports. I forgot to mention that Formula One had its inaugural year just before the NFR last year. So we're in great company in Las Vegas.
Yeah. $16.2 million, I think, is the payout for both contractors and contestants this year. Has anybody had a chance to break the numbers down yet? Go round average, what's that going to come out to? Do we know?
Yes, we have put that together. The average will pay about 88,000. I think the rounds will pay 33,000 this year, but that will go up every year. I had a little different approach to negotiating this contract, Steve. In past years, we had seen a significant bump and then a period of being relatively flat until the next contract came around. So we've seen some stair steps in the contract. What I wanted to do with the contract is have a consistent upward trajectory where everybody every year would share in the new growth of the NFR.
Tom Glause is joining us. Tom, let me ask you about the breakaway roping. There was nothing included in the release that came out on ProRodeo.com about the breakaway roping. It's been at the South Point the last couple of years. What do breakaway ropers need to know at this point?
The breakaway roping's still under discussion, Steve. There's certainly some logistical hurdles to bringing the breakaway into Thomas and Mack. For the foreseeable future, it will continue at the South Point, but we continue to look for ways to overcome some of the challenges. We've got a relatively small footprint at Thomas and Mack. Certainly, we have to figure out a way to raise the prize money, but we don't have any extra seats because all the seats have been sold out for the last 30 years or more. So there's a lot of expense that goes with it. There are a lot of logistics given our footprint in Las Vegas, and there's not a lot of increased revenue. So it is a challenge, but we continue to look how we can overcome those challenges.
Let me ask you a question about the Thomas and Mack. Tom, you mentioned that they remodeled the Thomas and Mack a couple of years ago. That's not a new building. It's been a great home to the National Finals Rodeo. It's hard for me to imagine the NFR anyplace else, but we all know they're always building stuff in Las Vegas. Is if new facilities become available, is there anything in this agreement about moving on, or does this keep us in the Thomas and Mack, or is that a to be determined kind of thing?
No, if new facilities come online, there's certainly an option to be mutually agreed upon. Right now, we're not aware of any facilities that are in the planning stage that would accommodate our needs. But if one does come about, it's certainly by mutual agreement we can agree to a new facility within Las Vegas. But there's a lot of history, tradition, and mystic with the Thomas and Mack that many songs and many dreams have evolved around Thomas and Mack and the yellow chutes and the bright lights of Vegas. So our contestants, our spectators, our fans, they love the intimacy of Thomas and Mack. You are right on top of the action. No other venue in the country are you that close to the action, and people love it.
Tom Glause with us. Tom, you have had the opportunity to really solidify maybe the two premier events in terms of championship events in the PRCA and the Thomas or in the NFR staying in Las Vegas. And just a few days after that announcement, you also announced a new agreement with the Pikes Peak or Bust Rodeo for the NFR Open in Colorado Springs. And the one thing that I've noticed just as a fan, boy, it's nice to see big crowds at the NFR Open, an event that had struggled for a couple of years to get a lot of people to come, and now all of a sudden it looks like it's filling up. How nice is it for you to have those locations secured?
Well, last week was the culmination of a lot of hard work. We had these negotiations in the work for both the NFR and the NFR Open with Pikes Peak or Bust for several months, if not years. And we started out with a 3-year agreement with Pikes Peak or Bust. We're in the final year of that agreement. And I always say the secret to any good relationship, it has to be good for both partners. And certainly I believe that we have elevated the status of the rodeo at Pikes Peak at Bust. But Pikes Peak or Bust has also been great for the PRCA to elevate the NFR Open, previously known as the National Circuit Finals. Like you alluded to, it has been hard to attract an audience to that event. And I think that we have found a home here in Pikes Peak or Bust, right in our backyard, our hometown rodeo, if you will, where it's well supported, it's well attended, and it's a great location for contestants, families, and fans to come to. It's really a destination rodeo with all the great activities here in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, Chris Whitney with the Pikes Peak Bus, the president, told ProRodeo.com this is a great day for our rodeo, and the opportunity to host and continue to host the NFR Open is an honor. It's nice to have partners who are all in on an event like that.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Chris and his crew are great partners, and we're glad to solidify that arrangement for the next 7 years.
Tom, let me ask you a little bit about, maybe I'm guilty of going all the way back to your State of the PRCA address that you gave back in December during the National Finals Rodeo. But there was a lot of optimism about the future of professional rodeo, from prize money to contestant numbers going up. What are you seeing as we're about halfway through the calendar year? Well, not about, we are halfway through the calendar year of 2024. Things going in the right direction in your mind?
Optimism is still at an all-time high, Steve. We see our membership increasing. It will exceed our membership of last year by not as much. We're seeing a slower growth, but we're seeing growth. And for me, the real goal is to create sustainable growth that we can maintain. But we will be nearing 7,000 members for the first time in over a decade. I'm really excited that we're growing it on the front end with permit holders. Our permit holders continue to be at record levels. We continue to try and create new opportunities for all members, especially our younger members, our members that don't rodeo full time. But the NFR Open is certainly one of them opportunities that can leapfrog a weekend contestant onto the national stage. Our entries are up significantly, so we're pleased that we're seeing contestants enter more rodeos. Fans continue to like the product that we have to offer, and sponsors appreciate the growth and certainly have supported it with their dollars.
I feel like I'm noticing, tell me if I'm right or wrong, particularly in the bareback riding and the saddle bronc riding, and I think the bull riding as well, a bunch of really talented 18, 19-year-old kids kind of restocking and repopulating those events. Am I right in saying that, Tom?
I'm seeing the same thing. I don't have the statistics to back that up, but certainly when I'm at the rodeos and when I look at the standings and I look at the results, Steve, we see a lot of new names. We see a lot of young athletes with a lot of talent that they're ready to compete at the highest level, 18, 19, 20 years old. I love last year, our rookie class of bareback riders, the top 10, collectively won over $1 million before the start of the NFR. And you can say, well, yeah, but Keenan Hayes won $250,000 of that. But that still leaves the next 9 that won 750,000, over 750,000. That was unheard of a few years ago. And we continue to get deeper and deeper, especially in the bareback riding, the bronc riding, and the bull riding. But we've really concentrated our efforts on the riding events because that's where we needed growth. That's where our entries were lacking. So it's fun to see some of our plans and our focus and our objectives come to fruition.
Let me ask you 2 final questions. We are, I believe, seeing a lot of rodeos set a lot of attendance records, rodeos of all sizes. And I don't know if you see those numbers in the office or not, but it sure looks like there are a lot of full grandstands at a lot of rodeos across the country. Do you see that? Do you have any of that information? Am I right in saying that?
I think it's a visual observation, and hats off to the committees. They're really the ones that produce these events. They put on first-class entertainment. We sanction it. We provide contestants and top-notch carded stock contractors and contract personnel. But it's the committees that are out there doing the heavy lifting, promoting the events, and giving fans the entertainment and the value for their entertainment dollar that they're demanding.
Tom, I asked you a question a while ago about stability, talking about the NFR guaranteed in Las Vegas through 2035, talking about the NFR Open. But you made some comments, maybe it was in the state of the PRCA address even, about the stability of our sponsors and our partners, people like Wrangler, people like Justin. Wrangler is one of, if not the, and Justin the same thing, and I think Resistol probably in the same category, among the longest lasting sponsors any major sporting organization can have. Am I right in saying that?
You're absolutely correct. And Sports Business Journal actually did an article on it last year. Wrangler is absolutely the longest running sponsor of any major sport. I believe we're going on 77 years with Wrangler as a sponsor, but we've also got other legacy sponsors that have been with us over 40 years. Justin Boots is nearly 70 years. Resistol is probably 50 years. Coors is over 40 years. So we have a lot of sponsors that see the value in rodeo, and they continue to be with us. And those legacy sponsors are really the bedrock of rodeo.
Last question, I promise. It's Cowboy Christmas. It's the 4th of July. It's just getting underway. As you and I are talking, we're into the middle of the Reno Rodeo. Some of the early 4th of July rodeos, places like Greeley, Colorado, are about to get underway. What is the number? 35, 40 rodeos, millions of dollars in prize money. I don't forget the exact, but it's a lot. This time of year is magical in pro rodeo. I know you're going to get out and travel a little bit. This time of year is kind of magical in our sport, I think.
This is really the fun time of rodeo. Reno traditionally kicks off the summer run. I'll be traveling to Reno on Wednesday to be there for a couple of days, and then take in Red Lodge and Livingston over the 4th of July before I go up to Calgary. But we are in the thick of the season. There's lots of money to be won. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about how our added money continues to increase. Last year we set a record for total payoff of $74.5 million, Steve. Historically, that number was about 50 million. Through June, added money from rodeos is up 1.6 million. We've got some good rodeos coming up. New rodeos, Mandan, North Dakota will be a $500,000 rodeo. The Governor's Cup in Sioux Falls will increase their payout by 100,000. So, and then the NFR increasing their payout substantially. So I think we'll pay out close to $80 million by the time we crown our world champions this year.
Wow. Sioux Falls, you could win, what, $45,000 if you 40%ed them last year. I know I personally have rodeos that I announced. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho has been a good rodeo in the Columbia River Circuit for a long time. They doubled their added money this year, basically. Livingston, Montana's gone up again. Castle Rock, Colorado, right there in your backyard, they kicked up the prize money considerably. Those are just events that I announce. It's been a Union, Oregon, been a small rodeo for a long time. Now they're in the medium-sized category. They just had big crowds. It's fun to see all the growth. Rodeo is one of the most resilient things in the world, I think, Tom. It doesn't matter. It seems like we just keep growing, and it's fun to see.
The growth has been phenomenal, and we're super excited to see it continue to grow.
Awesome. Tom Glause, I appreciate your time. I kept you longer than I asked you for, but it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for your service to the PRCA and continued success with the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association.
Always good to see you. Thanks, Steve.
Tom Glause joining us.